Oh man, check this out. Brand new gameplay of The Outer Worlds by Obsidian. This game looks absolutely amazing. We've got a ridiculous amount of information about this game, including how the RPG system works, weapons. We're talking about the worlds in this game. Yes, I used the plural version of that, worlds. We'll be traveling to 2 different worlds, moons, and then space stations. And then we're going to be talking about, everything in between, crafting, weapons, also the characters, a little bit about the story. Don't want to spoil that too much, but yeah, let's dive straight in. Welcome back to Open World Games. Let's do this. So yes, some B-roll footage was released, as you can see here, to several media outlets. You can find some of their videos in the description below, but also we got some brand new info. So let's just dive straight into it. So first of all, you guys got to know that this game is coming out on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. There was a little bit of confusion about this being an Xbox One exclusive. No, it is coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC sometime in 2019. Now, there were some really interesting characters on display during this demonstration. We got to meet, Ellie here, as you can see her. You'll be able to interact with your companions, of course, and take on companion missions and increase your relationship with your companions. But there will be no sex with companions in this game, so none of that is going to be making it into this game. Now, what's really cool about your companions is that they can interject themselves into your conversation. So if you're speaking to another NPC, they may suddenly butt in without your permission, which I think is a really, really cool addition to the game. Now, also, each companion will have a special attack that they can, demonstrate during, missions and during battle. Now, there is a companion named Felix as well, and he can do a double drop kick, but you can also equip them with whatever weapons you want. So a lot of really cool stuff with the companions going on. So cool to finally see gameplay, and they did showcase some battles. Here, I'll show you some of the fighting in the game as well. But you're probably wondering about your character at the beginning of your character. So yeah, you will be creating a character. You'll give that character a backstory. So, for example, Gameinformer, and then there's other sources in the description below, Gameinformer, PC Gamer, and the like. Check those out. But Gameinformer said that their character was afraid of fire because they gave that kind of backstory to their character. And there's also a fully fleshed out character creator. And even though it's in first person only, you will get to see your character when you're in the inventory, and if you leave the game idling long enough, it will rotate around your character. There's also some really cool battle camera angles that show some, like when a character in your group, when one of your companions does an amazing move or an epic moment happens, it'll show this like cinematic camera angle of them shooting their weapon, and you'll see, the enemy going down and stuff like that. Much like Red Dead Redemption 2 does. So they have that in the game as well. Now, also, there's going to be a leveling system in this game, of course, and there's going to be, like, Obsidian's own version of, I guess you would say, the special system. There are 6 skills: strength, intelligence, etc. And for every 20 points you put into one up until 100, you'll gain a new perk. So, yes, skills and perks. Stuff that may sound familiar to Fallout fans. Also, something that, pays homage to the VAT system a little bit, as you can see it working right now. Time dilation. More on that in just a moment. But it's really cool what you could do with that. You could slow down time, kind of see, what to do next. Yes. We went over companions. But I did want to talk a little bit more about the actual dialogue options that you can be confronted with. So you can see here how you can lie, attack, and do all sorts of stuff. But there's also a dumb option in conversation. So you could play it dumb and be the stupid idiot of the group. And your companions will butt in and say, "Why did you just say that?" So some hilarious humor is in this game. And it's also being identified as dark humor. So that's something to note about this game. Something that Obsidian Entertainment is known for. So it's great to see that it's trickling its way into this game for sure. Okay, so also in the gameplay that we got to see, of course you wake up from being in hibernation, and then you go on your way to explore this new frontier, which is going to be owned by many different corporations vying for, ownership over this unexplored territory, I guess you would say. Now, there's 2 different planets that you will be able to explore. Both of them have been terraformed, but one of them was left in utter chaos because the terraforming, well, it didn't go quite right or according to plan. And yeah, you're going to be exploring these worlds, figuring out where you fit in the world, but I guess it's going to be very open out of the gates. Like, the world is not going to be closed off. You're going to be able to do whatever you want, and then there's going to be these moments where the story will move forward. And by Obsidian, they're like, we want you to have complete freedom in this game to do whatever and just have a total freaking blast. Now, also at the beginning of the gameplay, we did get to see the spaceship. So here we are seeing some of your spaceship that you can explore and roam around. You have some crew that are on board here as well. Hanging out, chilling. And remember, you could pick the companions that actually join your party. I imagine that you can go to lone as well, lone wolf style. So it seems like something like that is possible in this game too. But yeah, the ship itself looks really cool. You'll be using this to traverse around the actual, solar system that they are dubbing it. But here, I wanted to show you this. This is such a cool freaking view. And I guess here you are going to be getting your mission before you actually undertake, going on this mission. You're being told what is happening here. But yeah, 2 different planets to explore, moons, and then also space stations are going to be accessible from your ship. But I did want to also talk about the fact that there will be some sort of lock-picking and hacking mechanic in this game that was demonstrated as well, and I want to show it here to you guys. But what it's based on is this. It says, hacking and lockpicking, they aren't mini games and are simply based on your current skills and attributes. So that's something to note. You're not going to go in and see like a little mini game. It's going to just be based on what you currently have in the back end for your, character and RPG and stuff like that. Now, there's also a really cool system in this game. I think it's called Fear or Flaw system. I've heard Gameinformer call it Fear system, and then there's the Flaw system. I think it's Flaws. So they say this. You can choose a flaw in the game, which will give you an ability, of course, but also give you a disadvantage. So while you might take extra damage from a certain enemy type, you might be more powerful in other areas of the game, but there's also these fears. So beyond this, you can have fear of heights, darkness, and even more. Here is an example of a perk that you can actually obtain as well. Now, the game may notice, for example, you catching on fire a lot, and as a result, it'll ask you, hey, you're catching on fire. It looks like you have like this fear of fire building up. Do you want to, actually gain this fear, this flaw of being fearful of fire? And then you'll be more susceptible to fire damage, sure, but the payoff is you may have something else that's a huge buff or advantage in the game. So you'll be given these moments to really think hard about your character. And I imagine this type of play style is going to really cater towards those that really, really want to specialize in their character. At least I think that's going to be what you're going to really want to do in this game, is kind of carve out a specialization. I'm not too sure if you're going to want to be a jack of all trades in this game based on that info there. But I imagine that is also possible. Now, you're noticing this battle here. The time dilation is being used. As you can see, you can tell what type of enemy you are facing, what level they are at, and also what type of threat they are. But also when they die, you can see the loot that becomes available. So, looting those weapons, crafting, and stuff like that is a big part of this game, of course. But you will be able to also equip 4 weapons. You saw that with the weapon wheel. 2 melee weapons and 2 guns were being used in this demonstration. A revolver, a shotgun, then a knife, and a scythe. Scythe, excuse me. So a lot of cool stuff there. Now, PC Gamer had some noteworthy stuff to say about weapons. So let's dive into that, shall we? So, this is what they said. The art style and gunplay of the Outer Worlds had me thinking of BioShock again and again. It's hard to say until I get my hands on it, but the animation and impact of shooting looks slightly stiff and simple in the way shooter RPGs often do compared to a Battlefield or Rainbow Six Siege, but that didn't stop it from looking fun, with tons of choices to make both in how you approach combat and what weapons you use. And they further go on to say with the gunplay, where you shoot and where you hit someone is where the weapon is going to land. The bullets are going to drop. So that's important to know as well. Now, they say this, there are weapons that are light, medium, and heavy bullet damage, as well as energy weapons and melee. I saw two of the latter, a lightsaber skew sword with a green laser blade, and a scythe with a sick dripping blade of red energy fit for a sci-fi Grim Reaper. The damage you do will be based on both the stats of that particular weapon, of your character stats. So yes, your character stats do directly influence your weapons. And I really dug the actual art style. They were speaking to the art style. Some of it really does remind me of Rage mixed with Borderlands here. And most notable is I didn't notice any major hiccups while we were watching this gameplay demonstration with the frame rate. Because, you know, Fallout 76, it doesn't run that well most of the time, at least for me. Fallout games and, you know, Bethesda games in general have problems with that as well. Okay, so moving on, let's talk more about choice and consequence in this game. They gave an example of this in their article too. They say this, you were part of a ship that got lost. You've been frozen for 70 years. If you're frozen for more than 10 years, it's a really bad thing. This guy figured out a way to save you, and he needs you to help him get more chemicals to help save the rest of the colonists. But you don't have to help him to do that. You can go to the evil board, the Halcyon corporate board, and turn this guy in and see what happens if you do that. So you can see the different types of paths you can take with this game. You're also seeing some dialogue options here. The character is currently lying to Porter here about things, and it's actually working. He's gaining new quest updates and experience by actually completing that. So you can see how all of this is tying into one another. Your skills under the hood that you've invested in go straight into dialogue, and then you get new quest rewards and different pathways based on your character that you have built. So yeah, I think we talked a little bit about dilation. We did get to see that, but I did want to take some time to actually mention that. So it doesn't work like Fallout's VATS system. So you slow down time, and again, you can basically see what the enemies are doing. So it's not exactly like that. So you don't get to target each arm and stuff. It's not going to be like they're directly copying off of that. So I did want to make that note there for you guys. Now, a lot of you guys are like, well, Robbie, I am a stealth player. I want to be able to play stealthy. Sure, we've seen a lot of conversations and stuff like that, but can I go in and play this in any way that I want to? The answer is yes. Now, Obsidian Entertainment, they're not too sure if you can go 100% pacifist in this game. It's sounding like that might not be a viable option. But if you see a building and you see a bunch of guards, it sounds like you'll be able to get into that building just by stealthing your way into secure facilities and playing in that manner. So go for it. So yes, let's move on and see what else we have here. So they did talk about robots and your ship's AI. So they go on to say this, robots aren't sentient, and your ship's AI seems to have a strange degree of personality. Now, also, there are going to be themes of drugs in this game, and you aren't going to be pressured to, of course, take those. So that's another thing that was noted. Now, I looked at this game and I was wondering, what in the world is the engine? It's running really good. I hope that it runs as well on consoles. I'm pretty sure they're playing on PC. So it's an Unreal Engine 4 game. Now, some other noteworthy stuff is your protagonist is not voiced in this game, and there's a special class of science weapons that will have special, ridiculous effects like a shrink ray. So you can see they're doing all sorts of weird stuff with this one, definitely. Now, they also did say this, your companions don't have separate inventories. That's definitely interesting. So taking companions with you just gives you more inventory space to work with yourself. That's actually really nice. Now, if companions really do dislike the decisions you make, they'll leave and go back to the ship. And you can persuade them to see things your way, but good luck with that one. Again, they all have their own special attacks. We went over lockpicking and hacking, the skills. So a lot of cool stuff was recently revealed with this game. I'm taking it all in. I'm freaking hyped over here, you know. So thrilled to see so many games like this coming around. There was also some Borderlands 3 leaks. Check that out on my channel if you're hyped for Borderlands 3. That one is definitely sounding extremely interesting. So I cannot wait for these games. It's cool to see that, you know, this publisher, Private Division, which I guess is part of 2K Games, or 2K, is really into supporting single-player-centric RPG games, that they're not really looking at live service stuff. That's a total freaking relief. That's not to say that I wouldn't love for them to continue supporting this game post-launch. But hopefully they build something where we can actually just, you know, get in there and enjoy it for what it is. But guys, there it is, all the latest about the Outer Worlds. Looks absolutely stunning. The enemy types look great to me, as you know, they could do so much stuff with this, considering that it's space, and you're going to get a wide variety of enemy types. Let's hope that at launch it runs well, and we can just enjoy it. But guys, thanks for watching. Remember, it's going to be releasing in 2019 on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Totally hyped for this one. Look forward to more coverage about this game. Be sure to smack that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notification icon. You don't want to miss out. Thanks, guys. I will see you later, and soon enough, in the Outer Worlds.